listening to the Brave Babe podcast. I hope you're ready to be totally inspired to be brave and radically empowered to drop your excuses, pick up your worth, and start creating a life you truly love. Because, babe, you're worth it. Yikes, y'all. This is episode 4 of the Brave Babe podcast. And I say yikes because this is usually the time that self-doubt creeps in and I start questioning why I even started something in the first place, and I tend to give up. It's such a bad habit I've had, and I'm constantly working on overcoming this. As someone who spent practically her whole life struggling with self-worth, I often find it easier to give up on myself and my projects rather than pushing through with confidence. But I believe so dang much that the community I'm attempting to create within the Brave Babe tribe and through this Brave Babe podcast can truly inspire and empower women to create better lives for themselves and for those around them. So, rather than sabotaging this podcast and giving up like I'm accustomed to doing around this 4-week mark, I'm choosing to talk through it with you, babes, because just maybe there's areas of your own life in which you also self-sabotage. So, how about we conquer this together and go from self-sabotaging experts to babes who know our worth and stop getting in the way of ourselves? What do you say? I'm counting you in. There's so many ways we self-sabotage and even more reasons why we do it. I don't want to just throw some random examples out there. So instead, I'm going to be vulnerable in sharing my experiences. And crap, this is scary. When I was just a cute, chubby-cheeked little 6-year-old girl, my dad took off. His drug and alcohol addiction was unfortunately much stronger than his will to be a father. He initially spent weekends with me after he left my family, but after putting my brother and I in a few dangerous situations and the court ordering that his visits be supervised, he split for good. Now, as an adult, I am fully aware that his actions and decisions that resulted from his illness were not my fault at all. But as a little girl who was too young to understand alcoholism and drug addiction, I thought that my dad left me because he didn't love me. And I thought that he didn't love me because I didn't give him enough reason to. I know, that's ridiculous. But if you've ever had anyone leave your life, be it a parent, a friend, or a lover, even if they told you it's not you, it's me, then you can probably relate in some way, right? When it's a parent who leaves you at such a young age, it can F with your mind in some really effed up ways. So I grew up feeling like I wasn't enough for my dad, and therefore I wouldn't ever be enough for anyone else. That was my thinking pattern, which resulted in me fearing letting people into my life because I assumed that they'd just leave. Because why would they stay when my own dad didn't even stay? And so grew my tendency to shut people out and to avoid getting too close to anyone. And when I felt like people were getting too close and I ran the risk of being hurt or abandoned by them, I would sabotage those relationships or friendships before the other person could. At least then it was done on my terms and under my control. I did that for so long, you guys, and it sucked so bad. And it was lonely too. Ask my husband and he'll tell you that I still subconsciously do this at times, even with him and even after 11 years of marriage. My dad walking out of my life at such a young age created this core identity of what I thought I deserved, or maybe I should say what I thought I didn't deserve. So much that it's all my subconscious came to know. Talk about daddy issues. So even as I grew and I learned differently that I am deserving of wonderful relationships and friendships in my life, my subconscious held on to a different message than my brain did. And this only spiraled into other areas of my life, and it had me feeling unworthy and undeserving of anything good, be it a career, kids, a healthy body, happiness, you name it. Our subconscious is like that little devil standing on one shoulder, while the little angel that's our brain stands on the other, and they're constantly battling and shouting different messages at us. In psychology, the subconscious is the part of the mind that is not currently in focal awareness. Our conscious mind is who we are and everything we think and we feel throughout the day. It's our awareness, But the subconscious mind is responsible for everything else happening in our life and our mind. It's what's going on deep inside of us where we don't even recognize it's happening. It's responsible for our behaviors, habits, beliefs, the self-image we've cultivated about our weaknesses and strengths and our capabilities and limits. It also goes deep into our model of reality and what we value, what we're motivated by, and what we think is wrong or right. This all sits below our level of awareness in our subconscious, and it remains there until we do some work to bring these thoughts and actions above our level of awareness up to the surface, where we can then restructure and retrain our subconscious to get on the new page of who we want to become and how we want to regard ourselves and the life we want to create. When I started a nutrition program a few years ago, because yes, I wanted to lose a few pounds, but mostly I wanted the energy I saw my friends gaining from this particular program, I found myself sticking to the program to a T for a few weeks. But by the end of the month, I began skipping my morning meal, adding in some crap food or soda, skipping the gym, or a ton of other self-sabotaging behaviors because although my conscious wanted to lose the weight and gain the energy, my subconscious was still that sneaky, massive self-critic who told me that I didn't deserve to feel and look better. And there was just too much standing between me and my goal of having a lean body and more energy. So by week 4, I was self-sabotaging my diet and my workouts. Hence why I started this episode by saying, yikes, it's week 4. And I normally give up on myself by now, but here I am trying to push through and not sabotage this podcast. I'm trying to retrain my mind to be consistent and to stick to it, even though deep down I don't feel worthy of having anyone listen to me. When I shared with a friend that I was starting to fall off track with my nutrition and exercise, and as a result, I was just starting to feel really crappy and unhealthy again, she recommended that I sign up for the Healthy Mind and Body program that my nutrition company offered that was supposed to empower your mind to achieve your vision. The program involved 10 to 15 minutes of daily, consistent action spanning 60 days, and this consistency changes the way you think and live by forging new habits and creating a healthier new identity. Participation in the Healthy Mind and Body program has been proven to change the way your unconscious mind works so you can conquer old habits and ensure a happy, healthy lifestyle. So I gave it a try, and long story short, the program really did help me get back on track. And it helped me to know that I am deserving of providing my body with nutrition that would help me feel my very best. And it helped me identify my self-sabotaging behaviors and retrain my subconscious in a manner that would support my goals. Now, don't take this as any sort of advertisement for the Healthy Mind and Body program because it's not. But I share to show that from my experience, it is possible to retrain our subconscious, which is something I think that we all must do if we want to put an end to our self-sabotaging habits. Forbes Women shares ways that we can train our minds to get what we want, and their recommendations include the willingness to recognize the changes that need to be made, giving yourself permission to be successful, not allowing others to cast shadows of doubt on you, surrounding yourself with positive reinforcement, speaking your success as a present fact and not a future plan, creating a vision board, identifying your resistance, setting obtainable goals, starting a gratitude journal, releasing your attachment to the how, surrounding yourself with allies, and filling yourself with affirmations and motivation. The results we get in anything and everything we do come from the actions that we're taking, and those actions come from our subconscious. So babes, we have to retrain our minds to have new thinking patterns and far less fears and tendencies to avoid difficult or uncomfortable things so that we can stop getting in our own way, so that we can stop procrastinating, stop self-medicating, stop relying on comfort foods that aren't good for us, or any of the other crap we do because our core identity is not yet brave. Your subconscious mind is the gatekeeper of your comfort zone. and your comfort zone keeps you stuck in ruts or routines that are preventing you from creating the life you really want. So let's start training our subconscious to be brave babes. Capiche? My kids normally respond to capiche with kaposh, so can I get a kaposh? Who else suffers from imposter syndrome? Babes, it's a real thing. Imposter syndrome is a lack of self-confidence, and it's anxiety and doubts about our abilities and accomplishments. It's negative self-talk, feelings of inadequacy, dwelling on past mistakes, and not feeling like we are good enough. Harvard Business Review says that imposters suffer from chronic self-doubt and a sense of intellectual fraudulence that override any feelings of success or external proof of their competence. In other words, we feel like a fraud even when we really aren't. I'll straight up tell you that right now, I feel like a fraud with this very podcast. I talk to y'all each week like I know what I'm talking about, but then after I finish recording each episode, I listen to it like 5,000 times and think, who am I? I'm no Rachel Hollis or Jenna Kutcher or Brene Brown. Why should anyone care about my stories when I don't have anything figured out? I'm just sharing it as I go along on this journey of trying to figure stuff out. I'm your fearless host, yet I'm fearful just admitting all of this. But we all know that being fearless doesn't mean there's an absence of fear, right? It simply means that we continue in spite of fear, which makes us brave babes. People telling me that I'm a great mom, but I feel like a huge imposter because they only see the happy photos of my family on social media and they don't hear me yelling at my kids because I shouldn't have to tell them 5 times to put their laundry away. Even after writing 11 books and becoming the recipient of several prestigious awards, Maya Angelou still had the nagging doubt that she hadn't really earned her accomplishments. She said, "I've run a game on everyone and they're going to find me out." Even Albert Einstein said that his work didn't deserve as much attention as it received. Albert Einstein and Maya Angelou's levels of accomplishment may be rare, their feelings of being imposters are actually very common. Why do we feel like our ideas and our skills aren't worthy of others' attention? And here's a crazy fact. Pluralistic ignorance is a thing too. It's where we each doubt ourselves privately, but we believe we're alone in thinking that way because no one else voices their doubts. Can you even imagine how much we'd be helping each other if we started sharing our doubts and insecurities with each other rather than holding that crap in and wearing the mask that says all is good here? Which, oh my gosh, this reminds me to share something with you that I did over the weekend. After watching a bunch of TEDx talks on YouTube, I looked into how to become a speaker for TEDx, and I discovered that the Grand Canyon University here in Phoenix holds an annual TEDx event in which they're currently seeking speakers for their 2020 event. So yes, your girl took the plunge and applied. If you're not familiar with TEDx Talks, it's basically a platform to spread great ideas in 18 minutes or less to your community with a belief in power of ideas to change attitudes, lives, and ultimately the world. The application asked for my idea in one sentence, and here's what I wrote. Women in tribe inspire bravery that empowers others to drop their excuses, pick up their worth, and create the life they want. Basically, what I want to speak about at GCU's TEDx, if chosen, is how women need real, unmasked, vulnerable, and the complete opposite of superficial relationships with other women because those relationships empower us to do far more. We need to support each other and lift each other up rather than cut each other down with comparison and competition, all stuff that I spoke about in last week's episode about creating space for all women to feel accepted. So this goes back to this imposter syndrome that many of us experience. All of it probably wouldn't feel so overwhelming if we only remained in community with each other and cut through the superficial crap and got down to the deep, real, meaningful stuff going on in our lives, the behind the scenes stuff that we can likely all relate to and that will help us feel less alone and less like imposters. And thus we'll stop self-sabotaging so much. Babe, you are not an imposter. You are you, and you're enough, and you are worthy of praise and recognition, and your ideas matter, and they deserve to be shared. So whether you're stopping yourself from succeeding in your work environment or in your personal life, Sabotage is a defense mechanism to prevent us from experiencing something we fear will hurt us. We obviously, because we're only human, fear that failure and rejection can hurt us, but we can also fear success when it's different and unknown. This goes back to our comfort zone, and when success is outside of our zone, our subconscious is triggered to return to what's familiar by any means necessary. What is the area of your life that you sabotage the most? Is it your career, finances, relationship, health? What beliefs do you associate with that sabotage? Do you think that earning more money will make you greedy? Relationships means somebody may leave you, or that being healthy requires sacrificing the foods you love and starving your body? If you were to write down every feeling, there's that F word, that comes to your mind when you think of that particular sabotage, what would your list look like? Which of those associations are holding you back the most? For example, if you're constantly yo-yo dieting and like I did, you stick with a nutrition and workout plan for 3 weeks, but by week 4, you find yourself sabotaging all of your efforts and ready to throw in the towel and feel sorry for yourself with an entire bag of potato chips on the couch, your list of associations may include food prep being too daunting, eliminating all the foods you love, starving your body, exhausting your body, the process taking too long without noticeable results. But if you counter those with the opposite, maybe eating healthy doesn't mean you'll feel hungry and deprived, but rather you'll discover new foods you enjoy and actually start feeding your body more of the good stuff. Or waking up early to work out doesn't mean that you're going to feel tired throughout the day, but rather energized. And results may not be visibly noticeable at first, but you are feeling less brain fog and less cranky. If you counter all of those negative limiting beliefs with true empowering beliefs, like earning more money doesn't result in greed, but rather allows you to give more to others, you can create incentives that will encourage you to change and reinforce your new beliefs. Rather than self-sabotaging, allow these new beliefs to pull you towards your goals and your potential. Breaking old habits and creating new routine is always hard. Trust me, I know. It's hard until you do it. For me, just getting to episode 4 of this podcast is 1 week past when I normally give up on myself. This episode is progress. This episode reflects that I've taken all the self-limiting negative talk that typically tells me I'm an imposter, I'm not good enough, I don't matter, I don't deserve good things or good people like the Brave Babe tribe in my life, but rather reflects that I've replaced all of that with empowering beliefs. Like, I can make a difference with this podcast. And it may take a few hundred episodes before women start paying attention, but if it inspired bravery in just one woman, it's all worth it. And so I'll continue being ridiculously intentional about replacing all the negativity in my subconscious with the new empowering beliefs until that is so routine and so habitual that it becomes all my subconscious knows. I'll continue to recognize the changes that need to be made. I'll continue giving myself permission to be successful, not allowing others to cast shadows of doubt on me, surrounding myself with positive reinforcement, speaking of my success as present fact rather than just a future plan, creating a vision board, identifying my resistance, setting obtainable goals, writing in my gratitude journal, releasing my attachment to the how, and being okay with figuring stuff out along the way, surrounding myself with allies, and filling my mind with positive affirmations and motivations. And pretty soon, this will be all that my subconscious knows. And Queen of Self-Sabotage will no longer be on my resume, but Brave Babe will be. I mean, more so than it already is, but you get the point, I hope. What is the area of your life that you sabotage the most and that you're committed to begin working on first? I want to invite you to join the Brave Babe tribe at bebravebabe.com or find us over on Facebook and let us know what self-sabotaging behavior you are going to retrain your mind to overcome. So that way we can cheer you on and support you while you're on the journey and you can return the favor for us because we need each other. When women are in tribe with each other and being authentic and vulnerable, we can accomplish so much more together. And we are worthy of dropping all of our sabotaging ways, aka our excuses, and creating the life that we truly want for ourselves. Again, for the ladies in the back, you are worthy, and babe, you are brave. Go out and make it a great week.